Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Charlie, and thank you, Rosie. And I think I'll just start by just saying that Rosie and I have been working together for some time now. We knew this proposal was going to come. The County Council prepared the ground. We brought forward our policy position statement in December, which the Executive Board, of which I'm a member, adopted unanimously. That makes it very clear that we will not support any above ground new infrastructure in Lincolnshire. That means any new pylons are not supported. We will object to them. We will oppose them. And that is our formal position. And I will continue to ensure we do everything we can to help and support our communities along the whole line of this route. Rosie and I have also met with Sir John Hayes, MP for the Deepings, who is coordinating the Lincolnshire MPs in their opposition to the proposals, and working with Sir Bernard Jenkin, who chairs the East Anglia group, to make sure there is a coordinated approach from Lincolnshire all the way down to the Thames to make sure that we're getting that message through to central government. You've probably heard the Prime Minister talk about these proposals for national infrastructure as British pylons. They've got nothing to do with Britain. This is all about, as Rosie has said, power going to London and the South East, and places like Lincolnshire getting all the impacts with none of the benefits whatsoever. Over the last few years, we've seen two very major infrastructure projects come through Lincolnshire: the Viking Link and Tritton Knoll, both of which have been buried underground. Originally, Tritton Knoll had a proposal for substations and pylons, and the County Council put our foot on the applicants, and we made it clear that would not be acceptable. And as a result, they took that away, and we ended up with those cables being buried. What you need to also understand in terms of the substation proposals is there are 5 giant offshore wind farms that will all need to come on shore if this pylon line is consented. That substation complex outside Alford will then require, for each of those additional offshore wind farms, a converter substation to be joined to the substation proposal. So you're going to see a massive expansion of substations in that area to convert the power before it goes into the National Grid substation. What you won't be aware of, even though I've mentioned it on Look North, is that we're also dealing with an application for a giant subsea cable to come from Scotland all the way down to the Lincolnshire coast and then be transmitted into the substation at Alford as well. That is to carry all the onshore wind from Scotland, which we're currently paying over £200 million a year to dump off grid into the grid. And if they can bring power of that kind of volume by a subsea cable, I'm very clear the offshore option is viable and the only real option for Lincolnshire. What I would also go on and say is that the company talks about the onshore option, the pylon option, as being the cheapest option. It is not the cheapest option because by the time they've ruined our landscape, wrecked our tourism industry, and devalued all your properties along the whole route of the pylon line, and that's not just those people who've had letters, but anyone I would say that lives within 3 to 5 kilometres of the pylon line will have a loss of value on their property. The compensation bill, in my mind, is going to run into billions, so it will not be the cheapest option. The other thing which is critically important is, of course, that the County Council is bidding for the Lincolnshire coast to be a UNESCO World Heritage Site because of its importance to bird migratory routes, one of the most important routes in the world. Pylons and birds don't mix, as you all know, so that is in itself going to cause a number of objections. There is a huge amount of work to be done. The County Council will oppose these proposals, and we will certainly be looking at landscape witnesses of our own to justify our reasons for opposing the scheme. What I will be doing is calling a meeting of all the interested parties, such as Natural England, the Wolds AOMB, the Wildlife Trust, etc., to try and get a common position on this proposal. The most important thing for all of you listening to this call tonight is be vocal. And whilst your MPs are opposing the scheme, make sure you write to them and make it clear how much you need them to do on your behalf, and make sure that they understand there is a groundswell of public opinion against this proposal. Also, go to the consultation events that are planned and make your feelings known. Encourage your friends. Don't go to all of them, because it's not right that you just turn up at every event, but make sure there's a coordinated group at each event, giving the National Grid team real hell over the proposals. But the big job for the first task you really have is to get all your friends to write letters of objection before the proposal submissions close in March. I'm going to share with Charlie the County Council position statement so it can be put on the website, so you understand that we have a formal planning position against the proposals, and you'll be able to use some of the words within that. And I'm available. My email address is in the chat, so please drop me a line, and I will talk to Charlie and give us some further advice on maybe things we can do to help get the campaign really swinging in terms of media and on a national basis. The most important thing, as I said, is I've been fighting stuff for 20 odd years as a councillor. I started my career fighting onshore wind farms. It feels like Groundhog Day to me that we're having to go through all this again, because government in London just simply hasn't got an energy policy that delivers secure and affordable energy to our nation, and we're all going to have to pay the price yet again for their incompetence. So I'll happily pick up any questions or thoughts, but this is great to have a first meeting. I'm pleased to be with you, and I will always be with you during this campaign.